Hello, and this is Payday 2 and I'm Sephrajin. Today I'd like to introduce you two of my builds that are stealth-based and very much loud-oriented. First, the Ghost, is more loud with a toolset. This is for up to overkill mayhem, because Grinder, as this build is based upon, kinda. Um, to my experience, works best up to overkill. Mayhem, it can work very well with a good team. So if everybody knows what to do, Mayhem is still good for Grinder. But on higher difficulties, I'd prefer other perks, other decks anyway. So the latter would be then Saboteur, which has a slight, well, they're similar and yet very much distinct. So let's continue with the Ghost. As I already said, we're going here with Grinder, and with Grinder there is no dodge. Well, best would be like 5 dodge. And since that isn't really much, we go with a West. And since we already have a West, we are going to skill that West to get the best out of it, right? So best of both worlds in that, for that matter. Now for weapons, any melee weapon with low detection rate and high concealment is great. Currently I have the Grabendolch, I don't know, it's for one of the achievements, like stabbing 30 people with it, so that's just for that there. Usually I prefer the carbon knife, or yeah, I very much prefer the carbon knife. Or if you need to knock out cameras, like for no mercy stealth, you could also use the electro ring thing. Anyway, so for the weapons I have akimbo para submachine guns, since they can be put to lower concealment, to a better detection rate, lower detection rate, higher concealment, so we say at 3. Usually I would prefer the Tatanka SMGs, although they are stealth oriented. I also have, since they are quite big, I have a LED combo with it, so I have lights for in other builds, like other full crit builds. Because for maps like Big Oil or something like that, lights on your weapons are always nice to have if you know what you're looking for. As tools, having skilled ECM, 2 pieces, and since this is more loud oriented, kinda, I'm having ammo bag as secondary. You know, they don't see it. ECMs is always nice. In case of emergency, you can always switch and keep your ECMs for yourself to open doors or something like that. This said, and as I already mentioned, that this is more a loud oriented build than the other. By that I mean, yeah, again, up to overkill, but it has Inspire Aced, so you can just run to them to get within reach of 9 meters and shout at them so they can get up again. So this is very, very wonderful. For stealth we always need more cable ties, so getting 6 is just a must-have. For Enforcer, which just makes very much sense with the Light West, going here, also to reduce the effect of stun grenades, like being blind for so long. To get all up, we need here Transporter. You could take this one instead, so getting less damage while interacting with an object, so like repairing drill or something. This would be nice as well. Nonetheless, I like throwing further, usually more, especially since we do have Bullseye, with which every 2 seconds, doing a headshot, we get 25 shield. So this is very, very wonderful. Also, the increased shield regeneration for yourself and your crew is a very nice have too. And last but not least, Iron Man just won to increase our the whole armor value by 30%. This is very nice and also works on all vests, so even more heavy stuff like the big ones. Whereas this one, even when aced, this works only up to the light vest and the regular vest, and then there's the heavy vest. For that it doesn't count anymore. No, it counts up to the heavy vest, and then there's the change with the flak vest having the same value as the heavy vest if those 20 points are skill. So this is for the enforcer. For the technician we have jack of all trades, of course, and just because we want to keep it stealthy, we do have mechatronic here, just one, so the drill is silent. I didn't have any points left to put in here because I wanted to have this one slightly more loud oriented, you know, in case of a fallback. Being a stealth oriented build, it has everything aced in Shinobi, but not cleaner or something like that, I don't know. Not much to say. You do need the aced ECM specialist to be able to you know, delay pagers, but it has to be placed before the pager gets shown. Otherwise you have to do that pager, but nothing else will get triggered by in that time. So if you have like 3 enemies, you shoot one and you see the next one is coming around the corner, you can place an ECM, do the first pager, shoot the second guy, and hope that the third won't come around when the pager is running out. Because then you get a problem of having to do 2 pagers within the same time. Usually can delay that very fine, even up to 4 pagers in a row within 90 seconds, but that's, yeah, it's an achievement, so it's not that easy, the side of getting 4 people done in that time. Anyway, in stealth, I mean. Obviously we're going to ace parkour, so we can run around pretty easy, and also acing it so we can reload our weapons while running around. This is very helpful. Yeah, well, it's very helpful in LoD to be able not to just walk, but to run and reload. Of course, to be stealthy, and since we do have the light vest, we're going to ace inner pockets. Because also with optical illusions, I think for the overall stealth process, not getting attacked by enemies is not so much of importance, and in the long run, well, not long run, but in the end, with the points here in the silenced weapons, that doesn't give me as much concealment as the vest, oddly enough, but it is what it is. So with inner pockets, wearing a vest, only when wearing a vest, this lowers the detection rate by more than this one, but it also depends slightly on the weapons used. So, but in most cases, and with the weapons, I prefer inner pockets does more for me than optical illusion. Obviously we do have comeback in case it turns loud, so we have 5 seconds 30% increased speed, which helps us to get in cover, although that is not so much needed with grinder. And since we do have bullseye, we can just do a headshot and have 25 shield, wait 2 seconds, do another headshot and have another 25 point shield, so this helps as well. Yeah, nothing unfugitive. Of course, you could go with something else, like you could go with Anarchist for loud, you could go also for Hacker, you could go for Burglar if you want to stay more stealthy. Burglar is anyway, Burglar is the deck for stealth. In my opinion, straight followed by Yakuza, which is just nice for the increased running speed, which also helps you to not getting detected. and since you're faster out of view. So this is also nice to have. However, I don't think Yakuza, for my gameplay or style, Yakuza isn't suited for that. So you should only choose Yakuza with a full stealth build, in my opinion. Anyway, Hacker is always nice because you can regenerate health, and that's for one. And with the pocket ECM, you also make the enemies like having a headache, and in that time you can easy run through them. This is very helpful on higher difficulties where you actually have lots of enemies, because these pockets ECMs, although you have two charges, they do have a cooldown of 100 seconds. Now you are able to reduce that cooldown by 6 seconds for each kill, but you do have a lot. You need to have a lot of enemies in front of you, and I literally mean in front of you, so you don't have to run around, because you only have 6 seconds to kill them while they are stunned by this effect. So the more enemies you can kill in those 6 seconds, the faster the pocket ECM will be available again. Well, the charge at least. So having only 6 enemies in front of you will only reduce the cooldown by 36 seconds. Thus, you still have to wait for 1 minute and 6 seconds until the charge is ready again. However, if you have like 12 or 20 enemies in front of you, and you manage to kill them all, and I think with SMG this is quite possible, then let's make it simple. Just make it very, very simple and say there's 20 people in front of you. Each one would give you 6 seconds, and you actually manage to kill all those 20. Now that is very, very optimistic, I'm aware of that, but 12 is quite possible if they're all in front of you. So, but for easier math, with 20 people, each 6 seconds, this makes 120 seconds. The cooldown is only, well, in quotes, only 100 seconds. So with 20 people killed, you'd have it ready instant again. Nice. So again, with this said, Hacker is nice for higher levels, because on lower levels you never ever have enough enemies in front of you to make it viable. Thus, you're still gonna die because you don't have it ready fast enough, or you can't regenerate heal enough because you don't kill enough to get it full. You know what I mean? So Hacker is after overkill possibility, and I would more say it's Death Wish or One Down than overkill or mayhem. So this said, let's continue with the Saboteur, which is a bomb specialist. Now, Saboteur, yeah, he does damage, he does infiltrate and stuff, and yeah, it's quite nice. Here I'm having as well stun grenades. I like that when it turns loud. For stealth, I have silenced weapons either way, so that's not much of an issue. I would recommend the AP silent as secondary, just in case it turns loud, so you can yeah, shoot through shields, and even if the shields are one in a row, well, several in a row, you might manage to only use one bullet for up to 3 or more shields, so that's quite nice. So this said, let's have a look. It's not so much loud oriented, for I don't have Inspire here, because on higher difficulty it's very much nice to have, but with the all of the mine specialization, well, specialist, I'm doing damage, I'm not a medic, right? So there's that. So this said, for overkill, mayhem, and anything above, I really, really, really recommend Inspire. However, it's a stealth-oriented build, so it's not a must-have too. And on higher levels, if stealth turns loud, you can restart it anyway, usually. you might try in the last few seconds, and for just that, this one is great because it also has bullseye. So for each headshot you get 25 shield, which is nice when you run through all the enemies. Of course, this reduced blind time, right? Also here with reduced damage when interacting with objects. This is very nice if it turned loud. Because the build is based on Anarchist, I do not have Shock and Awe because it doesn't cope with Anarchist, as it's explained in the Anarchist deck on the first card. So note skills and decks that are regenerating armor are deactivated. So this said, Shock and Awe isn't useful at all with Anarchist. However, Iron Man would be, and it is nice that even in the suit, if you go for increasing the whole armor value by 30%, you get over 200. Because as of now we have 158 and 30%, so 1/3 would be 50, adding on top would be 200. So this is very nice to have in higher difficulties. Also, the higher the difficulty, the faster you need to get back to cover, and you just are more able to do that. You're faster with no armor than with heavy armor. Yeah, for Technician we do have Jack of all trades, of course, and we have Mechatronic, we have aced drills, so reduced drill time by 30%, and of course everything that has to do with mines is aced. If you do have points spare, or if you want to reskill, it is nice to spend 3 points more down here in Mechatronic and additional 3 points up here. So this makes 6 points to get the 30% chance for the drill to restart itself when it's stuck. So that's a very nice have to. However, I wouldn't spend all 12 points by acing it, because just that one time working chance, well, you have a chance that upon hitting, a 50% chance upon hitting the stuck drill that it continues to work, so you don't have to repair it manually. However, this is only once. So for a drill that even skilled with 30% down, that drills for 3 or 4 minutes, and we know they stuck more often than just once. I think it's just a waste of points, the acing it. But in very loud, it might be viable if you have a team of specialists, but only if you have a team of specialists that are, you know, like coordinated. Like you have ammo, you have medics, you have that, then it works. Otherwise, it wouldn't. And again, with just one, everybody would need to have that, and I think that doesn't add up, so it's just once, so that sucks. Anyway, continue with stealth. As mentioned, I think that the stealth is the most toolish skill tree of them all in terms of objectives and time saving as well. However, everything is aced, but not Clean Man, because who needs 2 body bags if you don't play with, yeah, like, I don't know, I think the less killing the better. So and you also can buy body bags on the map, because you do have insider benefits, which also reduces the fee of killing civilians. So there's that. However, body bags is nice for guards and stuff. However, since you only may do 4 pagers, and with that you're able to, well, you start with 2 body bags, and if you place a body bag, yeah, right, you can pick up 3 more, and that's 5. So you have 4 pagers and 1 additional spare. So this is nice in solo. And again, if you're doing multiplayer and doing stealth, usually more than one person will have body bags with them or is able at least to buy them for the map. So let's continue with parkour. Again, this is just for running speed and endurance. This is just always nice, and it's just the opener. So having parkour is nice. It's a stealth oriented build, so it's not so much required to recharge to reload weapons while running. Although I do have that in Grinder, I don't have it here. Also, it might be more viable up here for higher difficulties. Then again, I do have more armor, so yeah. And I'm going here for crits, so doing more damage. Thus, yeah, you do the damage, you get shield, you recharge your weapon. I mean, you could go for the Krinkov, for example, because Krinkov is just nice because you have a speed pull magazine, which is just awesome. Reload within less than 2 seconds. This is just nice. And I'm not quite sure. I don't think this one has it. Magazine. Oh, it has. Right. So within 1.5 seconds, that's why I took the para. Actually, these were recommended by a friend of mine. I wouldn't have chosen the para SMGs because they do only 55 damage. However, with crit, it's not that bad, and the ammo pickup is slightly better. However, for lower builds levels, I like the Tatanka still more. I do get a higher detection rate with it, slightly, but I do have like lights with it, well, laser and lights, the LED combo, and it does more damage. So you don't need as many bullets to do the same amount of damage. Well, that's my count, so I'm still not sure whether I really like them or not. They are nice for the reload time. I mean, 1.5 seconds is nice, in loud as in stealth. Both with silenced is just nice. Again, the mines we're still here at Ghost. Doing all these crits, and also with the low concealment, we only need 1 to 3 points here, and we don't have to ace it because since we have since we are lower than 35 by 32 and we can only get up to 30% chance, that's 10 times 3 points, and we still have 2 spare and we already at the maximum. So even with the Tatanka with 4, I'm still all fine. I could even go up to 5 or something, so the Krinkov wouldn't be as good. Maybe one of those, no. Well, anyway, let's stay with this. So crit is always a nice damage dealer. Also because we don't wear a vest here, going here for acing to reduce the detection rate by using silenced weapon. And since it's a stealth oriented build, silencer is a must-have on weapons, and having it on both is just nice to have. And yeah, getting a low concealment. This is also why I can pick the Tatankas and only get 4. Although this is, if you look at the values, this is 2 more in concealment, but I only get 1 point more, and this is done by the skills. But yeah, here, and nothing on fugitive. So basically, they're both loud and stealthy, with a slightly different approach. While this one is more stealth oriented, with you know, like also in the optics with just the suit, and no inspire. It has the mines to do the damage and to keep the enemies away. Because if you have like a hallway where they have to go through, for example, Ukraine shop, or yeah, let's say Ukraine shop, you put a mine at the shop entry and you stay back in the offices. When the first one passes through, you get a 6-meter area a 6-meter area for 20 seconds of flames. So basically it's 4 meters, but with the first one, but because we aced it, it adds an additional 50%, so 2 more, so 6 meters as a range. That's quite nice. I mean, that's like 3 times a basketball player. Well, yeah, about. I guess basketball players are bigger than 2 meters each, but yeah, as an average value, so to say, and just for a rough idea. Anyway, that's not the matter. And we are very stealthy, and it's always nice to have reduced drilling times. It's also nice to have mines in stealth, because you can mark enemies in a huge area. That's just nice to keep it well informed and calm, because you know where the enemies are, you know where the guards are, you know when to expect someone, if you can risk it or not, if you have placed them. So that's always nice to have. And with ECMs, it's also nice to delay an alarm. That's especially helpful on maps like Car Shop or something, or Murky Water. But then again, there are often triggers that well get triggered regardless of an ECM. Like No Mercy, if you kill a civilian, the alarm goes off anyway. If you place an ECM in No Mercy, the alarm goes off anyway, because ECM, hospital, hello? Yeah, this said, again, here, instead of anarchist, you could pick a hacker, which is very nice. For hacker to say, it's also scales as well with dodge. So if you're going for hacker, I would really recommend to go for sneaky bastard, or whatever it's called in English. You just need the 4 points. You only need 4 points, because just as with the crit over here, it tops at 10%, giving 1% for each 3 points, so that's 30 points, and we have 32 points spare in the detection manner, right? So only 1 time will be enough. You need to get up there. So there's that. But once you get those 4 points up here, you will have, with hacker, you will have 45 dodge, with also being able to regenerate health and stun enemies in emergencies. So that's a very nice combo, really very nice. However, as an everyday thing, and I gotta admit, I suck at timing hacker properly. I really do. So for me, as a lazy person, it's more comfortable remaining with anarchist, because those 158 armor is quite nice, and usually a lot more than most people in overkill lobbies, at least, or very hard lobbies. If the map is funny, or if I'm just mooded for the map, I also do overkill in public groups, because as I already mentioned, oh no, that was the video before, playing public groups is, to me, more challenging than Deathwish. I'm not calling one down easy, definitely not, but Deathwish at times looks just slightly easier than feels slightly easier than Mayhem, and therefore, but you do have more enemies that you can kill, and thus with hacker it's nice, but with on overkill you don't have enough enemies for hacker. Anyway, anarchist is nice, 158 armor is nice, and especially being able to run at speed of 40 and having an endurance of 50, you don't have that with a big armor, right? And yeah, even if you don't feel comfortable, you could go for the heavy vest. I like the heavy vest. It's for my taste, it scales better with speed and endurance than flak, and even more so if you have scaled the enforcer die slow, die hard, with the increased 20 points increased vests, you will end up having the heavy vest being as powerful. You know, these are 20 points, right? And you're having here a difference of 5 to 6 in speed, only 2.5 in endurance, but 6 in speed. That's 1/5 of the lower on the lower end, or 1/6 on the upper end, and this is just huge, a huge difference in speed, I think. So if you go for vests, I'd always go for the heavy vest preferred. Well, yeah. Well, so much for stealth and stuff, and for these two builds. I really like them both. They have a slightly different gameplay, yet very similar, because on Overkill you feel like God either way, which is just nice. You can help others and just be a surprise, a welcome surprise, with all your tools that are just as well. That's why I like stealth so much. Well, down here they are definitely stealth, but up here it turns out to be also very viable in loud, because with this one you can open doors quite easy. Okay, you can open doors with the bombs as well, but not always. Not always with bombs, not always with ECM, it depends. But picklocking is always, and with this one you can even picklock safes. This is nice too, and well, if you're getting shot at, and there are doors that can't be ECM'd or C4'd, so picklocking is the only option, and this makes it just so much faster. And again, if you don't have a hacker build, but still need just to run somewhere, a skilled ECM, or being able to do 2 ECMs is also nice. So you have like 2 situations where you can place an ECM, in which case you wouldn't need to skill it if you just needed to stun people, right? But since it's a stealth-oriented, why not make those an additional and have the pagers safe, delayed? So this was the final word. And yeah, please leave a comment of what you think of my build recommendations. I really like them. I played them quite a lot within the last week, so like 50 hours last week, like 7 days, but still quite a lot, I think. But they were very, very fun and helpful on all difficulties. I usually play Overkill or Mayhem with friends, and public groups, well, very hard to Mayhem. Depends on the map and my mood. So yeah, again, leave a comment what you think. I hope it helped, give you an idea or impressions, and of course you can still tweak those builds to your liking. Links to them are in the description, as well to my well, there's a mod out there. Some people like mods, some people don't. Because I like to play a lot with builds, I have a mod that allows me to save the builds, like just this one, right? But save this one and name it, so I can do stuff like this. However, this is only available in here, so only when you actually can change your profiles you have access to this tool. So it's no real benefit other than you don't have to remember it all the time, that you don't have to actually click it all the time, that you don't have to yeah, you can just make it out of a list. So there's another video just explaining how that is done, also in the video description, to add your own custom styles or variations and stuff. And it's just easy to, well, exchange builds as well, and well, look like others play and learn from that. Yeah, now finally, I wish you have a good time. It helped, and maybe we see us online. Until then, have a good time and happy hosting. See ya.